All right, we're early. We're starting early today. 10 minutes early. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, how's it going? Good
Yeah,
weekend.
make sure I'm in the frame. Am I in the frame? Yeah, I'm in the frame.
Yeah, I'm only half in the frame. There we go. I was getting comfortable.
What's happening? All good?
Another week. No breaches last week, so that was it's kind of a nice week.
It's
A
been
little
quiet,
but next week is Thanksgiving though, which is sometimes our busiest time of year. So, what happens is, and this happened. You've seen this happen once. Is everybody goes home on Wednesday. IT forgets about all the systems till Monday morning. Hackers or threat actors come in Wednesday evening, do what they want to do. They have an entire weekend to take, do what they want to do and play in the systems, and then you come in on Monday and everything's encrypted. And you've seen that happen once before.
Yeah, remember when that happened? That client was 3 Thanksgivings ago.
Yeah. They came in on Monday morning and everything was ransom.
That was wild. I mean, they're so lucky they got back. Oh my God, this is a great segue because we're going to talk about backup today.
Right. Yep.
Do you remember that one? I almost said the name. They encrypted. So it was Thanksgiving.
Yep. They encrypted all the servers.
Friday,
yep.
The cloud servers, the servers that are in their office because they have a hybrid.
Right.
They're a manufacturer. They came into work on Friday and they're like, we can't access anything. Everything was encrypted. They got the backups. They got the cloud backups. That was a weird situation. We changed some things after that.
I think there was a copy that was sitting out there that just happened to not be encrypted to help recovery. But it could have been much worse if there was no backups. But this was this is a really, really large manufacturing company that every day that they're not working or manufacturing something, they're losing millions of dollars.
Yeah, 100%. We shouldn't have been able to get them back up and running. We had just coincidentally a month before or 2 months before we did some migrations, and we actually still had the backups images of the old servers.
Right.
And we didn't even know it. We just were looking around. We're like, oh my God, we forgot we never deleted the backups of the old during the migration. So we were able to get them back up and running like 3 days, but they should have been out of business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there would have been no way to recover. They would have been down for weeks. I don't know how they would have stayed in business.
Yeah, no, because they're not EHR, but they're basically their entire accounting / customer management system / manufacturing system was down. Yeah,
all the orders, everything was gone.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to think about what happened. And so, I remember. All this, we had no way to know they had a breach because they had nothing in place. There was no detection tools. There was no preventative measures in place. We had been proposing to them for like a year or two before that, all the things that they should do. The people that make the decisions there kept saying no, it wasn't in the budget. What happened is we got them back online. First thing they did was they approved everything.
Yep.
And now they're paranoid. They're like, give us everything. What else can you give us? What don't we have?
Right. And now, now they're a little paranoid. So we get more emails than we should sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah,
having a little paranoia.
So let's talk about backup. But let's talk about backups because we've had a few situations even since then where the backups are not as reliable as they should be, and we continue to evolve. But it's only as good as the advice that we give people that they're willing to take. That didn't sound exactly right, but we give people advice. There's always a budget attached to it. And oftentimes they'll say, well, that costs too much. And even though we share with them the impact of the decision to not go with the recommendation, they'll still say, well, it costs too much.
Right.
And what you and I talked about before we went live is we're going to talk about what people should be doing, what the right solution is to make sure that your backups are solid. They're maybe encryption at rest, that they're in a position where if there is a breach that somebody can't get them and delete them. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. I know you have we put some bullet points together. Why don't you run down the bullet points? Let's talk.
Yeah, I think the number one thing to realize is that backup is not something that you just go to a website, put your credit card in, pay $59 and download some backup software and you're set. Backup's a long-term strategy that should 100% be incorporated into everyday cyber and IT policies. It's not a I would love to have it. It's a you must have it strategy and policy nowadays. It used to be that they would say you would have either a 3-2-1 backup policy, 3 copies of your data, 2 different media sources, and 1 offsite copy. They've changed it recently to become what they call 3-2-1-1-0 backup strategy, which is basically 3 copies of your data. Keep the original and 2 backup copies, of course. 2 different kinds of media storage, disk. Well, nobody uses disk anymore, but cloud storage or, disks on location. And then you want to have a copy that's offsite, always a copy offsite, because if threat actors get in and you're sitting there in your Veeam server or whatever you have is online, they get to it. They'll take that one out, but your offsite copy is still there. And you want to have what they call it's a mutable or an air gap. A mutable basically means unchanged, can't be changed. One air gap means it's not on your network. So you might have a backup server that takes a backup copy, and then you unplug it or you don't unplug it. But whatever you do, we keep it going. And then, of course, you want to test those backups. How many times have we gone in and someone says they have a backup and we go to restore them and there's errors and they can't be restored because no one's ever bothered to test it. So it's basically, a new long-term strategy, which has to be implemented. 3-2-1-1-0, 3 copies, 2 medias, 1 offsite, 1 air gap immutable, and 0 errors.
Hang on one second. Somebody just dropped a comment here. I want to take a look at there's a gentleman named Thomas. Look at what he wrote. Maybe we just address that for a sec. You see the comments?
Yeah, we've seen that. We also see that a lot of manufacturing, there's still a lot of manufacturing machines and systems that run on Windows 98, early versions of Windows 10. I've seen them run on Windows 97. So some of those like old CMC or CNC machines have been slow to update. But yeah, we've definitely seen that.
So, I mean, that was a great point that you had touched on a moment ago. I think you had a few more though.
Oh yeah, that's just one
That's just one
thing. Yeah,
we want people to know this is. usually you and I chit chat for 5 minutes, and we're jumping into it today because I know you have 10 things, and this is high value. Anybody that's going to watch this, they're gonna you got to know that you're going to have a breach. When you have a breach, the only thing standing between you and having to pay that ransom is how reliable your backup is and how fast you can return to operations, RTO, and where the recovery point is. Right. So, but if your backups are also wiped out, there is no recovery point.
Yeah, and that goes into segmenting your backups. Making sure your backups aren't. The first thing threat actors do is they basically discover your entire network and everything that's on it. So if from the machine or system that they're at, if they can see your backups, they're going to delete them. I mean, we've seen it over and over and over again. So your backups definitely need to be sitting somewhere that's hidden or not seen, using firewall access control or network segmentation, something that protects those backups from being seen.
Hang on, Matt, we're losing you.
Machines. And then, of course, my biggest thing that was never, ever done, backup testing. I've gone into, I don't know, maybe 100 clients in the 15 years I've been running this company where they've needed a backup. They say they have backups. We start restoring, and within 5 minutes, we get an error on the restore because either there's a corrupted disk or the backup didn't partake successfully. It's just any number of reasons for the backup not to work and they'll say that you test them. And
so what are you saying?
They have all kinds of pieces of paper that say they tested them, but they never actually tested them.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, which is crazy because I hear that all the time. It's look, for our clients, we check it. We check daily and we do restore tests all the time. But how many people come to us and they're like, if that's the story, we have a good backup. No, you don't. When's the last time somebody checked it? Oh, I thought my IT company was checking. Well, clearly they weren't. Right. So you actually need to you got to take accountability and ownership. If you're the owner or you're the business decision maker or you're the leader, the manager, whatever if somebody's telling you something as important as our backups are good, you really need to have them prove it to you. Like, show me show me the process, show me the testing, show me something.
Right.
Because the chances are that you're relying on somebody who unintentionally is throwing a grenade over the fence at you because that's gonna blow up on you unexpectedly.
Yeah, that leads me into one of the other points, which basically is leveraging backup monitoring and alerting. Like you said, you guys check the backups every day, but having tools that will tell you if your backups are working, and not just having the tool, but making sure you understand what it's telling you and when you really need to to take action. I mean, anybody can have a tool that sends you an email every day that says the backup was fine, but is it really fine, or was one part of it fine and the rest of it wasn't?
Yeah, that could be a big problem. What's next? What's number 3?
Mm-hmm. Encrypting your backup. It sounds kind of funny because ransomware encrypts it, but if you're using encryption, excuse me, for your backups, it saves them from being deleted because you'll need, the threat actor will need other resources to try and break that decryption to delete them. And then that's encryption is very prominent now. Not in the like I said, going to a website, putting in your credit card, and downloading a backup tool. You're probably not going to get advanced features like encryption, but and more robust backup tools like Veeam or StorageCraft or Datto. They all
Veeam's
provide.
Good, Datto's good. Yeah. But don't be using Carbonite. We still have people say, "Oh, we're doing Carbonite backup." I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'm always amazed. Yeah, we were looking at some people a while ago, and this is a multi-million-dollar company with hundreds of servers, and they're all being backed up by Carbonite. And I won't talk negatively about them, but we wanted to do a restore test. It was going to take them something like 72 hours to restore a server because they have limited bandwidth up and down. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're hitting it hard today, man. Keep running down the list.
Yeah. Like I think, as I said this at the beginning, backup's a strategy. It's not just something you do. So maintaining and building an effective disaster recovery plan, backups are part of that. If you don't have a very detailed disaster recovery plan, and you need to make use of your backups, and you don't know where they are or where they're being stored or which backups to use, you could theoretically restore the wrong backups or the wrong copies of what you're looking for.
And that goes back to somebody in the organization has to have accountability, or at least if you're going to outsource to a company like us, then okay, then we have the accountability, and then we meet on a regular basis, and there's reports, and there's proof of accountability.
Right.
It's like you can't just like trust but verify. Hope is not a strategy, right?
Yep. Yeah. For us, we like to diversify our backup locations. We usually have 3. On-premise gets you quick access for recovery. You need to back up, you need to recover a file or recover like a small server. That's great. Cloud backups are great because if your entire site goes down or your entire site gets ransomware, but they don't have access to your cloud facility, you're able to restore. And then cold storage, the Amazon Glaciers or really, really cold storage. It's super cheap, but might take longer to get back. It's for your really, really bad disaster, like something major happened and you got to dig deep, but you'll have a backup. So,
we still have people that will come to us and say, like, we'll meet them. They'll be looking, maybe they're changing providers or something. And as we're doing our due diligence, we're like, well, tell us about your backup. Oh, we have an external drive plugged into the server. Like, what? Yeah, we take it home once in a while. And people are still doing this. It's crazy. And I'm not talking about little tiny businesses. They could be businesses that are doing $5-10 million a year, but they don't have an IT budget. They've never really thought much about it. They're still being run by leaders who generationally, I'm almost 52 now. I'll be 52 next month, but there's a generation ahead of me of business leaders who are late 50s, more so in their 60s, who they sort of missed that little window of time where you and I came up. We learned this stuff. But people who came up 10 years before us, this is what they were doing, and they still run the business in a very in a way where they still don't believe in investing in technology. It's as crazy as that sounds. I don't even know what the percentage, but I feel like it's a large percentage of small businesses they're still not doing what they should be doing because they're still being run by the founders who have not passed the torch to the next generation of people who understand technology a little better. I don't say that to be offensive or to insult anybody. It's just what we see.
Yeah, I had a phrase I used to use a long time ago that we'd go into a business like that where the founder started it, and we would call it the Best Buy network. So you would come into a business and they would have like a Linksys router, and then like a bunch of off the shelf Best Buy computers and stuff. No switches, no anything, and then we'd have to go in and completely overhaul the entire thing. It was a good start, but not really built for growth.
Yeah.
Next
by the way, watching this, that link I put on the bottom, Matt and I came up with this about a year ago. That link takes you to a very thorough cybersecurity assessment. It doesn't cost anything. Click the link, put your information in. We're going to reach out to you once you put the information in just to check on you and see what your results were. But it's a really, really thorough assessment. And it'll give you if you're honest about it and you understand what you're answering, if you answer correctly, you're going to get a really, really good picture of where you stand versus where you should be. So definitely use that link. Sorry, Matt, I think you had a few more points.
No problem. I was actually reading another comment about using virtual machines to secure and hide backups, which is actually a great idea. It was using virtual machines to secure and hide backups is good for safeguarding critical data, which is true. You build some virtual machines, use them as your backups, and they can be, you control access to them, turn them off if needed. Lots of great things you can do there, which actually brings me into my next point is around access control. Not everyone needs access to your backups. Not all your administrators need access to it. Not your entire IT department. You really want to limit who has access to your backups.
Yep.
If you have 5 IT staff, do all 5 IT staff need access to them? Does the owner of the company need access? Remember that everybody who has access to it, that's one more person that the threat actor gains credentials or access to. They're able to get in, see them, and do what they want with them.
It's interesting that we're going through an exercise right now of looking through all of our clients to see even who has admin privileges. We want to have those numbers as low as possible. Like any potential risk, it really has to be looked at and taken seriously. What you got next, buddy?
Working with ransomware detection tools. Obviously, you want to make sure your backups, whatever backup service you have, also have ransomware tools on them. Just example, Sentinel-1 or Halcyon. Make sure that something looking for deletions or encryption or processes being ran. And my last one is look for advanced features. You're not going to get advanced features from a lot of the smaller backup companies, but you want to make sure you can have some compression. Incremental backups are huge because incremental backups let you not only save space but allow you to be able to expand out longer for what you're storing. And then versioning, you want to save multiple versions of files. So anything you can do to really kind of like safeguard your backups, prioritize what you're backing up. Yep. And also it's a cost factor too. Having compression would allow you to potentially store more backups for less cost, because we do know that even cloud storage, disk storage, it's all a cost that adds up after a while. So you have to kind of balance that cost with what you're saving.
Now you're going to make me put this other banner up. Did I not? Nobody. No, I took it down. Well, there's another thing that we say all the time to each other, which is the cost of remediation is always more than the cost of mitigation. Sometimes I forget that, but it is far less expensive to put the tools and systems in place to either to avoid a breach, to reduce the risk of a breach, or to at least give us the ability to give yourself the ability to detect something.
Right.
The faster you respond, the more chance you have of no damage and not even needing to go to the backups. You have to be able to respond quickly. If you don't have detection tools in place, if you don't have things in place that tell you somebody's on the computer, on a network, there's activity going on, there's weird behavior, you need to put it in place right now. Antivirus is not the solution. I hear people all the time say, we have antivirus. That is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about detecting a virus. We're talking about detecting behavior on a network, network traffic that indicates that there's somebody on your network doing something, copying data off. If somebody's copying your data, how the hell do you know? You don't know unless you put something on the network. It is far less expensive to put those tools in place than it is to find out that somebody exfiltrated your data, encrypted everything, and now you got to start screwing around with backups.
I can give a great example of that. About a year ago, we lost a bid for $2,500 a month for some monitoring. 4 months later, they contacted us because they had been breached and a threat actor had stolen a bunch of data and some other stuff. Our response bill with our insurance company was $187,000. So
how much?
$187,000 total, not just us, but us and like 3 other.
That's how much you billed?
Yeah, so us and like 3 other companies that were involved it was about $187,000 insurance company, which could have been saved by a $2,500 a month.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, and it's what's the expression? Penny wise, pound foolish.
Yep.
People are starting to come around finally, but it's crazy after all these years, after all these breaches, after all the news and everything. Many people still don't want to put a budget in. And here's what they say to me right here. I'm changing it to this.
Oh yeah, that's a favorite thing.
We're too small. It's not going to happen to us. Nobody knows we're here. Nobody cares. Nobody's looking. It's
well, we know that we've seen what
it's not true.
We've seen what a two-person accounting firm get breached. I've had a one-person sales company get breached. If you have data or the customer or something that they want, or if you have anything that's of value, customer data. If you're a one-person mortgage lender, you have a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. If they get nothing else from you other than they are able to use you to kind of bounce off and send out more phishing emails to get your address, but one way or the other, they're just trying to get in. And anybody, everywhere, every size company, it doesn't make a difference. There's something of value one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't value your business, then keep doing nothing, right?
And honestly, if I was a threat actor, which I'm not, smaller businesses are meatier because they have less safeguards in place. It's easier to get into them than you try and get into some Fortune 500s or other companies that
100%.
Spend millions of dollars a year in cyber.
And now they know. I mean, most people have cyber insurance, so they're going to get in. You're a small business. They're going to get in. They're going to hit you.
Yeah.
They're going to get your backups. They're going to get paid by the insurance company within a day or two because you're going to be in so much pain. You're not going to know what to do with yourself. We see it all the time.
Right.
And then after the fact, you're going to turn around and say, "Oh, now we'll put everything in place. Put everything in place right now." Let's close this out with getting back to the backups. One other thing.
Mm-hmm.
You should consider also putting Office 365 backup tools in place. We use a product called AvePoint. Is a product we use, but if your email account gets hacked and your email is gone, good luck getting that back from Microsoft. People think that there's backup included. It's more so it's not backup. It's retention.
It's archive. Yeah, retention and archiving.
You're not restoring your Teams. You're not restoring your calendar. You're not restoring an entire mailbox. You're going to lose your stuff.
Right.
You really need to understand that backup isn't just your data. It's your email. It's your Office 365. It's your Google. It's all of it. And there are tools for that too. They're not expensive. I think we charge $5 a month per mailbox. It's really not much. It's It's worth it, and it's something everybody should do. So I know you and I both got to run, so we came in and hit it hard today.
Yep, it does. It was good.
Yeah, but this is good information. We will be back on this again next week, and I know our team's going to post this out on social media, so it'll be out there for everybody to see. And the numbers here, the email address is here. We're happy to give you some guidance. You probably already have somebody. You may not really need to use us, but we're happy to take the free assessment. Let me put this up here one more time. All right, do the free assessment. All right, it's mind-core.com/risk-assessment-survey. It'll give you some really good insight. And if you want to give us a call, you can go there. There's our phone number. Just ask for me if you like. And the main thing is here that we don't make it easy. Make it as complicated as you possibly can for somebody to penetrate your environment. Don't open the front door and just let them walk right in. Make it difficult. And don't put yourself in a position of weakness by not having good, solid backups. Right? That's the message.
Exactly.
You need those backups. It's going to save you a lot of time and money.
Yep. And a lot of times it's time. Like you said, don't make the front door easy to open. If the threat actor hits the front door, they can't get in. They hit a window, they can't get in. They're just going to move on to the next target.
Yeah, they'll move on. They'll move on.
Yeah. If they're going to spend too much time to get in, they're going to go somewhere else so they can get in faster.
100%. All right, my friend. I'll talk with you later. Good one today.
Talk to you soon. Yep.
Take it easy.